What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 10 of the SashaT podcast, a Whatnot original. And we got my good friend, Shaya Cards in the building. Just like the good old days, we're back. We're going to give some hot takes. Shaya's probably going to give some hot takes.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about what he's got going on. VeeCon, a lot of things to talk about. Shaya, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. I'm excited to be here. Like the old days, a little throwback. I love to talk and spread my opinions, my thoughts, the experience, the knowledge. So yeah, I'm excited.
Let's talk about VeeCon. I mean, that's where we were the last week.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that? I mean, the Dallas show was going on at the same time, so we kind of had to make a tough decision of which one we wanted to go to. But why don't you give your thoughts on VeeCon and how you thought it was?
I am happy that we chose VeeCon over Dallas, and I think that both of our thinking was that Dallas happens every 2 months. It's an amazing show. I love to go there, but VeeCon is a once-a-year event that Gary Vaynerchuk hosted for all the holders of the VeeFriends NFT. So it was a very cool event, very eye-opening as to how interconnected that NFT crypto space is, and I think it really inspired a lot of us card dealers as to how card shows could progress into the future. So I wouldn't say necessarily it was great card wise, but I think it opened our eyes to a lot of different things that we didn't realize previously. We met a lot of cool people. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time in Minnesota this past week.
It was definitely way different than like a normal card show.
Absolutely. With only 15 people invited to the Raleigh flea market, which is where the sports cards dealers were hosted. There wasn't too much going on in the sports cards section necessarily, but there were a lot of interactions, good conversations, a lot of people interested in the space, and obviously us getting the chance to be more educated on that side of the NFT and crypto space. I think it was very beneficial for sure.
Yeah, I think we, like you said before, we both understood that maybe sales wise, it wasn't going to be, Dallas would have been a better option, but
absolutely,
the ability to go to an event like that and soak in data and information and, talk to people was really, really cool. And also the people that we got to meet, they were really just nice, chill, and positive. It was really cool to see that.
Yeah. A lot of good people. Everyone was so willing to learn, very intrigued, actually. I wouldn't say there was the utmost knowledge about the sports card trading card area, but a lot of people were very interested, as Gary had previously been a very big believer in sports cards and currently is still a big believer, big investor in the space.
And we got to hang out with some two nice fellas.
Two very nice.
We had Chris Costa and Schmitty.
Yes, two amazing guys. Highly recommend Card Vault US. And Schmitty is just one of the funniest guys that I think I've ever interacted with.
Schmitty is an all-time guy.
All time.
So he works at Card Vault over in Boston, and what happened was we're staying at the Bellagio. We say we were staying at the Bellagio, but it was actually a residence in Marriott. And I opened the door to go get my friend Adrian into the hotel, and all of a sudden I see Chris and Schmitty, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be an amazing.
This is clutch.
Week. Yeah, this is clutch.
Very clutch.
So we got to hang out with them for basically the whole week and weekend. I mean, most of the day and night. We didn't really have to get too much sleep. But it was really cool to dive into their world and see what they're trying to build and where we're at. And I think we got some, things in the works with them, which is going to be exciting.
Absolutely.
What do you think about NFTs, dude?
I would say I'm relatively uneducated on the space, but I am slowly becoming more knowledgeable about it. I'm intrigued. I believe in it to an extent. I feel like just as sports cards or crypto or anything, not everything is going to survive. There's going to be a few in the pack that do. There's going to be dips. There's going to be rises. But I'm open to it. I'm going to keep researching, keep learning. But what I did see is those investors in the NFT space, they live and breathe NFTs. They believe it with their whole heart.
Yeah.
They'll
die. They'll die with it.
They ride or die with those NFTs.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it was an interesting week. It was an interesting timing for the event because during the time NFTs had gone down a lot.
Yep.
And Chris actually made a joke when we were at the event that,
the net worth.
Yeah, the net worth of the room has gone down like 70% over the last 2 months. So I thought that was interesting, like the timing of the event, but still the positivity that was there was really cool to see. And for sports cards, we had PWCC and Friday, which was kind of unusual. Usually it's premiere ends on Saturdays. And we had Golden end on Saturday. And those two auctions definitely didn't do what I guess they normally do in terms of value of cards. They both auctions definitely took a hit just because it's I don't think it's anything to do with like the auctions didn't do what they're supposed to do. Like in terms of the houses, I think they did everything they were able to do. It's just where we're at with the market. It just people are a little tight on money right now, and when you really think about it, when 7 months ago or 12 months ago, when somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to buy this 50K card," it was like nothing to them, and now they're second guessing, right?
Absolutely.
So it is weird to see like NFT market, card market kind of taking a hit simultaneously together, and crypto.
Yeah, I would say that especially with the auctions, I feel like there's a lot of cards a lot of people want, but especially now with the liquidity in the market, I think that people are becoming a lot more cautious with their next investment, and they really want to optimize the money that they're putting towards it. And I think where the issue arises, there's so many great cards coming out at once, and you also have to take into account there's other auctions coming up. There's always a big auction ending in a week or two, whether that's weekly on PWCC, Premier, Golden, Alt, Heritage. There's so many auctions. And that's just completely aside from the fact from all the Instagram, Facebook, local deals that go down and card shows. So everybody needs to think about their cash on hand, their current credit card statement, and their plans for the future, because there's just so much stuff ending and so many cards that you don't necessarily see every day, but it's just over and over again. But
the supply of stuff that's coming onto the market now, the bigger cards, it's just every week you see something that you normally wouldn't have seen a couple months ago. And you got to pick your spots. It used to be like a couple weeks ago, even just as soon as a couple weeks ago, you'd be buying so many things on auctions because you thought, hey, look, that's a really good deal. Now it's getting to the point though where you have to be specific, because even though a card is a really good deal in today's market, that comp is almost setting the new market. Whereas before, that comp was like, oh, that was a low comp. Whereas now everything's almost a low comp. So you have to pick and choose what you really think has that value.
Yeah, I would say that you really have to believe in the cards that you're buying now. You have to have some basis as to why it's running low and a way to prove that in order to make your next sale. Because at the end of the day, at the next card show, you bring that card up that let's say you bought for 10K, but you think it's a 15K card. Everybody is going to be able to see that PWCC comp that you bought it on Premier last auction. So there needs to be an indicator of some sort that you truly believe that that card is undervalued, or you're playing the long game and saying, hey, this card is cheap now. I think in 6 months it's going to be a lot more expensive, or by some certain percentage. I'm going to hold it until then. And that's the play. But everybody obviously has a different mythology going into these auctions. So I think everybody just has a different game that they're playing with these big auctions that are ending on a weekly basis.
So, I mean, we talked a lot about the market over, the week and the weekend. What do you think, is going to happen, as we're getting into the summer, and, heading into, the end of the year?
I think that obviously the National is one that really comes to mind. It's the event that everybody looks forward to every year. Dallas is obviously coming up. I believe it's 1 or 2 weeks prior to the National. So I think both of those shows are going to be highly anticipated. And I think a lot of things are going to be trading towards, oh, this card is going to rise until the national. I'm seeing a lot of things with especially the football market.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, possibly Mahomes. Those type of guys. A lot of guys are buying those currently in anticipation. That's why everybody is going after those football cards right now, is because they're planning to hold until the national and then move those cards at the national, hoping for big seasons out of those guys.
So what's your play? What are you trying to do?
So I actually got on that trend a little bit earlier. While a lot of people were buying the basketball a few months ago, a few weeks ago, I started to dip my toes into the football market as playoffs was kind of as the NBA playoffs were kind of starting up. I decided to go in to the football market, pick up a few contenders autos of Herbert, Burrow, and Josh Allen. I'm currently looking at a Mahomes play here or there, but I think that play is slowly diminishing as there's a certain ceiling to those cards just based on the hype. But if you're trying to do the play of, hey, I want to bet on this guy because I think he's going to have a huge season, that's a completely different play as some people are doing, as they're just looking for the build-up and hype and to move it prior to the start of the season.
Yeah. But is there any – are you being, like, very specific on what you're buying today, right? Like, today, like how are you operating?
Absolutely. But I think that's something that I've always been relatively different in compared to some of the other big guys in the market, is I've always been very relatively specific with what I'm buying because, well, mainly to the fact that I'm currently in college. So that my main attention is to my studies. And because of that, I truly need to believe in those cards and say, hey, I need to step away from the card game for X amount of whatever weeks, months, whatever it may be. I need to truly believe in these cards for them to either sustain or go up.
Yeah. Because you're not day trading it.
I'm not. I just can't. I don't have the time for it during the school year. So, but now that it's summertime, now I can start taking on a little bit more risk as there is more liquidity. I'm in Los Angeles with Burbank and all these great shops around us. So, yeah, I think I'm always picking and choosing what I get, and I truly believe in all the cards that I decide to pick up.
Do you like, as a buyer, would you rather buy at a card show or auction house?
It always comes down to the card, and me personally, I always love dealing at shows. I think that the negotiation aspect of that is always a fun aspect, and you get to always you're able to build a connection with that seller,
Yeah.
or whoever you're doing the deal with, the trade.
Yeah.
I just love doing deals at card shows. I think it's one of the things you look for. That's the reason why you go to the card show. You go to make deals. As opposed to the auction house, it provides you with a great opportunity online, remote, to get the cards that you seek. But I just love doing deals at the card shows.
You like the interaction?
The rush, the conversations, the back and forth. I think that's just that's why we do this.
No, I like that point too, because it seems like a lot of people like, for example, Dallas was this weekend, and during the Dallas, there's auction houses.
Yeah.
You know, we brought up auctions were ending, but people are at trade night, buying, selling, and trading.
Yeah.
So it always is interesting to me to like see that, of like, people just would rather be person to person, and maybe they won't do as well, but I mean, maybe they will too, but it just depends on like the route you want to take, I guess.
You definitely get caught up at these shows. I noticed personally, I think at the last Dallas show or at the national, when those auctions are ending, whichever of the major ones it may be, you forget because there's so much happening. And just aside from the main show or the trade nights or all the events, you're tired at the end of the night. It's such long hours, early mornings, especially if you're setting up. A lot of interaction. There's no real break, especially if you're running the floor. That at the end of the night, you just want to have dinner and crash and get prepared for the next morning. So it obviously often just crosses your mind that, oh, there's an auction. I think that happened with us last night. We missed
PWCC
Sunday.
Weekly.
Yeah.
And that was weird because that event, the first day, I was more tired than I ever was at like another show.
Agreed.
It was 100%. Weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a longer day maybe, but it was weird. We got really tired at the end of that event. But it was cool, bro. Like Snoop Dogg was there, Michael Rubin was there, Josh Luber came to the table, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I was mid chicken finger.
Mid chicken finger.
I was mid chicken finger, and that pops up. So
Yeah.
that, I mean,
Logan Paul
was there.
I
mean, who else? I mean, there's
a lot of big people was there.
Yeah, he came by Chris's table.
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot of guys.
And also, like, when people would come by the table, it would be like I remember you had a guy who came by the table. You guys exchanged information.
Yeah.
And the dude was like had like an insane following and stuff.
Yeah. You never know. I think that was one of the main things. Since this convention was only accessible to those that had the VeeFriends NFT or those that sold the tickets to the NFT, you never knew who was going to walk up to the table. Not everybody's necessarily famous or a big name, but you never knew who it was. And it just turned out that this guy that I met, we exchanged information, was a big, I guess, soccer YouTuber or something to that extent, based out of Los Angeles. So he's a super cool dude. Was interested in getting into the soccer trading card space. And yeah, just a lot of great people that we met.
Yeah, it was definitely cool to see cool to see people get interested in the space and come to the table and see the flow of people come in and ask questions. They weren't necessarily buying, but it was cool. It was really fun to see a lot of. I didn't know what to expect at the show, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, do I bring singles? Do I bring wax? And I was like, I'm gonna go a little. I'm gonna bring some wax to the show, which I usually don't. I leave all my wax here. So I shipped wax over there, and that was actually most of my sales.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was funny to think about. People like that, the chance to get something versus, I guess, buying the asset. That was interesting to see.
Yeah, I think even we saw that with the Zero Cool VeeFriends boxes that everybody was after.
Guys, people in the card market, they don't really mess with the VeeFriends boxes. But guys, I'm telling you, it was insane. People were like breaking those boxes. They were auctioning off the cards, like live. There was probably a crowd of like 100 people around this table, and they were auctioning off the cards.
Some random guy just started this auction.
And like, yes, the group of people were probably rather buy VeeFriends cards. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's a market.
There's some demand for that for sure.
Like, I think the boxes are like 5,000 to 6,000, which I don't know if that's a good price or not a good price or all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But from what I saw there's definitely a demand for it.
And one of our good friends, Dan, had a case, and we were set up right next to him from Cards and Coffee, and he had so much interest in that case. Just one after another, we're just coming up with interest because there are so few of those boxes available, because the card guys didn't think that, this is such a big thing. And we went there like, wow, these NFT crypto guys really mess with the Zero Cool VeeFriends boxes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if other NFTs do come out with like cards.
Yeah,
like that would be cool if Bored Ape came out with some sort of product, right? I mean,
absolutely.
There's so much dual like stuff that can be done with the card collectible physical asset world with the NFT virtual like world, where I think we're in early stages of what could be done from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think we talk with a lot of people about the NFT sports card comparison. And I think one of the main points that I think they brought up to us in those conversations was that the liquidity of the sports cards, the storage, the transportation, all of them said that with NFTs, I'm able to just store it on my phone and bring it around, and it's so easy to trade and deal with. There's no shipping, there's no storage, there's no traveling. As opposed to sports cards, we have to bring these cases, these duffel bags. We have to list them on eBay. We got to auction them off, ship them. There's just so many different things. So that's really one point that they made out to us. And I think a lot of them are interested to see if the sports card space starts to veer towards NFTs and start incorporating that to a point where that becomes more mainstream, more liquid, to allow more people to get involved, especially those people that are involved with crypto and NFTs in a large manner.
Yeah, that was literally one of the first conversations we had when we went to the outside.
Yes, the welcome party.
When we went to the welcome party, that was the first. That guy came up tall, British dude, I think he was.
He actually pulled a big one-of-one VeeFriends Zero Cool. Card. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter yesterday.
Damn,
massive. Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, yeah, he came up to us and he was in cards. I think he watched some of the content and yeah, that's what he brought up. He said, hey, look, with NFTs, I can just literally day trade. I can, if I sell something, it's all automatic. It's all done. And with this stuff, we had to ship wax to the hotel or whatever it is. And it's very, I don't know, it's very like
eye-opening.
Yeah, not eye-opening, but it's also like very like where we're at as an industry still has more room to grow. And what we brought up is like, these companies are coming out of, look, your card is stored in a vault and you can trade the NFT version of your card. And there's multitudes of companies that have either an idea specific to that or slightly different, that they're in the chase of who's going to become
the mainstream guy.
Yeah, exactly, that mainstream company that that it's the go-to, almost like OpenSea in a way. And I think that's over the next couple of years that's going to play out, right? So where people say, hey, look, I'm going more card side or more NFT side, I think it's going to be actually the two sides almost coming together in a way and building off of each other.
Absolutely.
This is not that much different.
Yeah,
it just isn't.
Not at all. Not at all. I think that's one of the things that would really bring the NFT space closer to the card space in that sense, is that those people, once they see the similarities with the liquidity and the accessibility with the cards, I think that'll really gain a lot of interest, because obviously a lot of the NFTs are not directly correlated with the sports world.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world based on supply and demand or whatever it may be, crypto, news. I wish I was more educated on the NFT space, but I believe that is relatively what it's based on. But obviously, with the sports card market, it's a lot more. It's a lot more in real time. There's one event, one news report, one stat line. Anticipation. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah, well, so with NFTs too, it's like that almost too, because like if a news breaks out of like, well, our NFT project is partnering with another NFT project, that like sometimes brings the value of it up. If there's a buyout, if they're adding a token, if they're making some sort of game where you can use your NFT utility in the game, those little things make the values fluctuate. Same thing as cards, like how you mentioned, of players' performance or trades or whatever it is. So that's another almost similarity in a way. But I do think that the also other vibe we got from that event is that the bad actors of the NFT space are getting are moving out right now, because a lot of projects, when we talked about a lot of projects are going to go down, they're not going to be worth anything. That is literally what's happening right now. A lot of projects that you didn't know who the owners were, the owners of the project. You didn't know if they're gonna grind it out and be and make something happen for the project. They came in when it was hot. They they made a lot of money, and now that things aren't going as easily as they hoped, they're bailing.
Absolutely,
there's rug pulls. It's scary. It's not healthy stuff. So that's also one of the aspects we saw. Whereas with cards, it's cool to see. I mean, if it is a quality card, at least you're always going to have something there, like physically an asset. Whereas NFTs, it's almost like it disappears in a way.
I think that we spoke about this, that like previously, that like a lot of people from the beginning of NFTs, that was their living. And I think that really decreased in recent time. That like the flipping,
money,
a lot of people lost money. And I remember for a solid few month period, people were just doing clockwork with those NFTs, just flipping them one after another. And I think that since this recent crypto market correction, or whatever you want to call it, I think people are realizing that, hey, there's going to be an X amount of projects that are really going to be able to succeed. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a little break right here. Our guy somebody said objection, lack of foundation. Give us your point. We'll respond back. We're responding back to the chat, guys. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you disagree on, put it in the chat. We'll respond back. Guys, want to bring up the point. We are live on Whatnot right now. If you have any comments, questions for Shaya or me, we will answer them. So make sure to be commenting. If you're watching on YouTube right now, guys, get on the lives, and we will interact with the chat.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But I'm kind of waiting for Boosted to see. I want to see what he has to say.
Oh yeah.
Boosted is taking a little bit of time right now. LOL,
He's just here.
I'm just here.
He's just here.
He's just having a good time.
He's vibing.
All right, guys. Well, just again pointing it out that we are taking questions from the chat. But yeah, one of the other cool things when I was there, like it was like VeeFriends, the series 1 was at like a very low price too. It was like an 80th. Yeah. I'm like, damn, like should we scoop one?
Yeah.
Like,
but everyone was still so adamant about the project. Everyone had full belief in it, in Gary and what he's going to do in the future. And I think that really shows that they're so confident in the project, despite the whole crypto situation currently.
Do you think like if you were 10, like let's say, and you didn't know about cards or NFTs,
10 years old?
If you're 10 years old, right?
Okay.
If you're 10 years old, you don't know one day, right? It's one day. You get exposed to cards and NFTs the same day, right?
Yep.
Which one do you think like you would have went after more?
Absolutely cards. And I would just say that's just because of my obsession with sports. I think that I just love to watch sports. And I actually, when I was of young age, I would say in the 6th grade, I just started doing fantasy football. And I think that was very similar in the sense that you are investing and putting confidence into a player in competition. And I think that the only difference here is there's money behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that this really gave you an incentive of, okay, I'm still following my main favorite teams.
Yeah.
But I can still follow and root for other players because I have something invested in them.
Yeah.
As opposed to NFTs, I think that's a little bit different of a
you can't
sector.
Like you can't do it.
You can't root. It's a little bit different. But I just love the day-to-day, the anticipation of the next playoff game, the next game, of how Luka's going to perform, how LeBron's going to perform.
Yeah.
And that's just why I gravitated sports cards. It was not always a business. It was a hobby for the majority of my childhood.
Yeah.
And I stepped away from it and I came back. And that's when the game changed.
Yeah, I think the ability to day trade the asset and like be like connected with the card with your favorite players is something that the NFT space really just doesn't have yet.
Yeah.
I feel like
no, not at all. I think especially with the sentimental value of cards.
Yeah.
I don't think NFTs have that, or at least not yet. But I think just like what happened with Kobe cards is
when you want a piece of
you wanted a piece, you wanted an autograph, a card that Kobe touched. You wanted a piece of something to remember how great and his impact on the world, on the game, on everything. And I think that's one portion of it is that's just the difference between cards and NFTs. And I think that may be a block into cards becoming NFTs or having that option is most people want something that's tangible. They want something that they can hold, something that's in their hand, something that they can look at and have that sentimental value to it.
So what, like, we have these two spaces, and I like this conversation, and the reason I want to like flow it through is because what we got from this event and what we took away was it isn't NFTs or cards. It's not cards or NFTs.
Yes.
It's cards and NFTs. And how can these two very similar but very different industries, come together and better each other, right? So from the aspect of the card community, because that's what you do, you're in the card community, you're in the card industry, you're buying cards, you're selling cards. How is there a way, from a card standpoint, that NFTs can come into cards and make a positive impact?
I think that it comes down to kind of the similar thing that we talked about previously, is the whole sending your card into the vault and there becoming an NFT form of that card where you can fractionalize that card if you so choose, where you can sell a portion of that card as NFT form to other people. And I think it's kind of not as similar, but like with the Panini blockchain type thing that was going on, where you could pull the redemption and you would get the online. And I think sometimes you would get the actual physical card or with specific cards. I think something similar along those lines. But I definitely think it's something that we have to do as a market is to progress in that way, because I think that there's definitely a lot more in common with the two markets, as a lot of people have yet to understand. And I think that's what we really realized this weekend.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. Can we double check if the chat's working? Because we're not. I don't know if we're getting too many comments in there, Franklin.
No, yeah, it's just people just joining.
Got you. How many people do we have in? Don't worry, we'll edit this part out. Oh, we got comments, guys. We're taking questions from the chat. So if you have any questions,
about anything. Does not need to be about NFTs.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be about NFTs. And don't worry, Trevor. When you're seeing this, just edit all this part out. I want to see if we can get some more interaction from the chat. What is up, CMS Nacho? What is up, 424? What is up, Coco? What is up, Dominat? I'm gonna murder that name. I'm gonna murder that name. What is up, guys? We're taking questions from
Dominator.
Oh my god! Yeah. Somebody said I don't think sports cards and NFTs go together, but they do have similarities. That makes sense. Kappa boys, shorties. Okay, now we're getting some questions. Keep getting some questions. All right, here we go. We'll start it now, Trevor. If you're editing. Douglas123 said you have people who hate NFTs in the card market that only care about tangibility, and they try to say one is better than the other. Yeah, I think it's or. I think it's and. It's not or.
Yeah, but I also think regarding that comment, there's also people in the card market that hate other people in the card market. There's a lot of
and
also hatred within the market itself.
The event we went to was way more positive than
absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of friction within the card market. I think that's one of the big things, one of the roadblocks that we need to solve.
Exactly.
But I think that there's obviously gatekeeping in the sense of NFTs as well. But you just think about within the market itself, there's this division between the classic one is collectors and flippers.
Yeah.
And now there's so many other people that are kind of in the middle or the extremes. And I think that there's a lot of division that needs to be solved for sure.
Yeah. 424 Souls asked, what's some good investments for World Cup 2022?
Oh, yeah. I think Sasha and I have been looking at those. I think we've been looking at them for a while. I think we're both very excited for the World Cup that's coming up just a few months. But I think my main play, my guy is Mbappe. That's Sasha's OG back in the day. But yeah, I truly believe in Mbappe. I think he's going to do really well. And besides the fact, I think there's going to be a lot of hype going into it. I think people are going to realize it within the coming months as to the hype that's going to build up. And I think we're going to see a pretty sizable surge going up to it. Obviously, safe plays are Messi and Ronaldo. Those are two of the greats. But then I guess it comes down to maximizing your investment. And as we said, there's so many cards coming out. You have to really watch your money in hand. So I think you got to pick and choose who you really believe in. And if you got to have a game plan in the sense that, are you going to hold that through the World Cup?
Yeah.
Or are you going to sell prior and just see what hype builds up prior to it?
Yeah, I agree. Somebody brought up a great point. They said, I could see NFTs being used as a proof of ownership for cards, but also like a historical way of knowing who owned that card and what it sold for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Because we don't really have anything like that at the moment.
Yeah, because from what they're saying, you're tracking the specific card and who owned it.
Yeah.
Versus a company like Card Ladder and Alt, they track the value of the card in general.
And the sale of which platform. We're tracking what platform the card is selling on and not that specific individual card.
Yeah, this is talking about tracking the specific card and then who owned it.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting.
That's very interesting. Absolutely.
And I think that's cool. Like if you have whatever it is, like you can call it a random Luca base 10, you could see who owned it.
This was in the hands of whoever maybe. Yeah. I even see cards like to this day where it's like, I traded that card like 5 years ago and it's the same card, the same serial. And I'm like, that's sick. Like,
it's cool when you see it in person. Exactly. Person, like, oh yeah, I own.
And that's not the person you dealt it with.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can look, and then when you're interacting with them, you learn how they got it and who had it before. Having that on a platform would be kind of dope.
That would be very cool.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It would help against fakes.
That's facts.
I agree and disagree at the same time because, okay, a company like StockX, right? Remember when StockX started doing cards?
Yeah.
They had one set picture of a card, right? So because their viewpoint of what they were doing is more more on the base market.
Okay.
So like they would have like a trade base 10 or Mbappe Prism 10, right? And then it would be like, these are what's available on StockX, buy now. But you wouldn't get you wouldn't get that exact picture of the card. You get a random card. And so people got upset a little bit that, well, this card that was sold was OC compared to that card, that was actual package, because you were never getting the actual picture.
Well, I think something like this would really help against altering. I think that if a picture is taken somehow within each transaction, each step of the way, you're going to be able to nail as to where something went wrong, where somebody did something, whether that's replacing a patch, fixing an auto, trimming a card, whatever it may be. I think that would really help in the sense of somebody down the line getting screwed over because, hey, I found out this card is altered.
Fake patch.
Something along the line, and you'd be able to go back.
And those are the intricacies of the card market that
the NFTs
don't have. It's you really got to know.
Especially with those big cards, those big exquisites, NTs, flawless. There's a lot of cards out there that you got to be very careful with.
Yeah, like there'll be a card that will go up on an auction house, and then the hardcore collectors know that's a fake patch.
Yeah.
But to the everyday person, even to the auction house, they're like, how am I supposed to?
Yeah, it's a cool patch or whatever it is. You never know.
So like that sort of stuff is, and that's where you need, your true collectors to come in. And I think, these startups need to hire some of these guys as in auction houses.
Because those are the guys that have been following it so passionately before the whole card market surge. They did this out of pure enjoyment.
Yeah, they didn't care about the values of the items. Not. And they didn't care if it was $10 or $1,000, exactly. Right?
And they love these cards, and they know it like the back of their hand. Especially those avid collectors of the exquisite and flawless and NG. They know what those patches ranged from, what they're supposed to look like, what they're not supposed to look like, and like the best patches that came out when that set came released.
Awesome Laura 10 had a great question. He said, since NFTs are being rugged and a lot are not stable, what's something to do to increase somebody's faith in NFTs in general? I think the same way you think about cards, you should think about NFTs. I think if you're going in from a collector aspect first, because I think that's the way you need to go into it right now, collector investment aspect, I think flipping right now is very tough.
Absolutely.
So don't go in it from a flipping, because that already happened. I mean, the flippers are kind of almost gone. You need to go in from a collector investor standpoint. And I think that's the way you could do your best. I think you need to get out to events. NFT NYC is happening in a couple weeks. I think you need to, the same way you do your research on cards, you need to do research on NFTs. You need to learn about the owners of the projects. That's huge, because I think the best way to collect and invest is look at the owner first versus the art and all that stuff. For me, the art and all that shit, I think that's kind of bullshit. It's like a lot of this shit looks whack, like, to be honest. I think it's more about the owner and their plan and what they're going to do, and then also, their experience beforehand.
I think that the art aspect of that, I think the whole sentimental value kind of trumps that art card. I think a lot of cards are a lot more sentimental as opposed to it's a masterpiece. And in regards to the flipping, I completely agree. I would remember to a few years back when I was a sophomore in high school, I would say that was really the time where
I think they're talking about NFTs.
No, I know, but you transition to the flipping the investors. Is that we have veered away from that. And I would say in NFTs, it's just like how the card market veered away from the base.
Yeah.
You just have to adapt and learn.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's the same thing that happened with the base market.
I agree. This is funny. Do you think Jalen Hurts is a good investment?
I am personally not the biggest fan. I think Jalen Hurts will surely put up solid numbers to some extent.
His stuff is cheaper though than a lot of other young QBs.
Absolutely, but it comes down to the same question. Money is in limited supply. There's a lot of big cards coming out. Where do you think you can optimize your investment? And is Jalen Hurts that guy? If you truly believe, you have stats behind it, you have belief, you've watched the tape, you've done all that, you think Jalen Hurts is that guy and you're going to prove me wrong, go ahead. I'm rooting for you. But I personally, as of this moment, I'm not a huge Jalen Hurts investor.
Got you. I would say that I think football is a buy right now. So, like, if you're do your research and you're buying young QBs, I think there's always opportunity to make money off of them. Would I say?
I think that, especially with the football market, I think that as you see everybody saying that it's a buy, you should consider to sell.
I don't think everybody's saying that right now, though.
I think a lot of people are. I think especially with those big name QBs, I think if you're going for those lower tier QBs, price wise, such as let's just say Darnold, Trubisky, Hurts, Daniel Jones, those type of guys that are very low compared to the other guys in initial investment, I would say that's a different story, and that those are guys that you're going to have to hold. But if you're going based on hype, most of the moves have already happened, those free agency moves.
I think that everybody's has the point of that the national football is going to be hot because it was last year and the year before and the year before.
It will definitely be liquid. There's no.
So I think a lot of people are buying up for the national. If you want to play it safe, sell it a couple weeks before the national.
That's the
but
if you're buying the right stuff, you should not be hesitant or worried that it's not going to move it.
I think Burrow's already hot right now, bro.
Josh, a lot of people like Josh Allen right now. I think they're favorites.
I know. I'm holding on my Josh Allen because I'm like, it's just going to be hot.
I think the sportsbook has Buffalo as the favorite.
You know what's not hot right now and hard to sell though?
Basketball?
No, for football.
Oh, for football.
What's a QB that is weirdly hard to sell right now and not hot?
Who are you talking about?
Mahomes. It's weird. I get it, but I don't get it.
So Mahomes is an interesting case, as in it's also. I would also argue Watson is getting a little bit tough in murky waters, but I would say Mahomes is tough because he is of a different. He's priced at a different echelon, kind of how Luka is. Him compared to the next guy, I think of Tatum. There's a big gap, just as Josh Allen and Mahomes. And I think that that's why some people are like, okay, I can buy this much Josh Allen versus this much Mahomes. And that's just all because of Mahomes' performance and he's won the Super Bowl. And to respond to the comment, Lamar is a sleeper.
That's actually Franklin, our guy behind the camera.
Oh, that is Franklin. Well, there's another guy. There was somebody else that also commented this, I believe. I do agree, actually. I think that the one thing Lamar lacks, and I think it's the same thing he's lacked for a few years, is the receiving core.
I do think, though, Lamar has maybe the best opportunity to go up into the national.
I don't know if hype will build. Hype will need to. Yes, I agree. His prices are way too low for how he's performed. I think the scare is for him, for a lot of investors, is that how high of an injury risk he has, as to how explosive he plays. And also you have to keep in mind that division. You have Pittsburgh with the strong defense. You have Cleveland, who just picked up Deshaun Watson. And then you have the Super Bowl contenders of last year, the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow. So that's by no means going to be a cakewalk for Mr. Lamar Jackson.
I think Lamar is a part of culture, and I think Mahomes, in a way, like the culture is almost like isn't fucking him as much anymore. Right? Am I right? Kind of.
I think Mahomes is seen as the golden boy.
I think he was, but now, like, because he is, like, people aren't fucking with him in a way. But like, whereas Burrow came out of nowhere.
And everyone loves him.
And now everybody loves him.
But you also
you saw him on what podcast was he on?
The Full Send podcast.
Yeah, it was on the Full Send podcast, just vibing with the boys.
Absolutely. Oh no. We got Mr.
Tua is a buy.
Mr. Nick. That is Mr. Nick.
Nick said Tua is a buy.
Yeah. Nick, I'm rooting for you on that one.
That's a little rough for real.
Well, they did pick up Mr. Tyreek Hill. That was the Dolphins.
Yeah. Tua stuff is cheap though.
It's the same thing as Jalen Hurts. It's a low risk, high reward type of investment, but you really have to believe in what you're investing in. You got to have some basis behind it, or else you're gonna get burned.
You know who I think is high though, but is good. But I'm just like, why is he like? it's hard to buy into him for me. Like as like a business, Herbert. I get the Herbert hype. I get it. But as a business, when I go in and I need to spend the X amount of money to get a return, I'm like, damn.
Herbert is expensive.
It's expensive.
I think right now we're seeing this race as to which of these next guys is gonna win the Super Bowl. And it's whoever wins that is gonna see a massive price hike. Massive. Because then they're level with Mahomes. Especially if they perform.
I'd wonder how much Hurts you could get for the price of Herbert, if you know what I'm saying.
So much. But the thing is the probability of that.
But I like the upside.
But
I would rather like this is the upside and I can get this much stuff because I feel like I know I could sell it better because the price points are cheaper in a way. When you get up to that, 3 to 5 to 10K range, it is a little bit tougher to move that sort of stuff.
I think that the most interesting thing is, I believe, correct me if I'm mistaken, chat, but I'm pretty sure Justin Herbert is more expensive than Josh Allen right now.
Justin Herbert is more expensive. Yeah, I think he is.
The PSA 10 contenders, I believe, for Herbert is 75 to 8K, whereas the Josh Allen is from 67 to 7. And if I'm not mistaken,
which one is it? Which card are you talking about?
The Herbert PSA 10
of what?
Contenders.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Contenders auto. I believe that there's a discrepancy between those two, and I think that Josh Allen is the clear play between those two. And especially you have to think of print runs.
I Josh Allen's
print
better
run
value play.
Is a lower print run because he came from a previous year. Each year the print run increases. That is why Mahomes contender is so expensive, is because there's only 212 of the base contenders.
Somebody said that Herbert is 6'7". There's no way that he's 6'7".
Herbert is massive, but so is Josh Allen.
No, Herbert, there's no way.
I don't know how tall he is.
Can we check that on Google? Can we Google that? I do.
Herbert.
There's no way Herbert is 6'7".
But Josh Allen's a big dude. I know Josh Allen's a big dude for sure.
6'6". Herbert's 6'6".
What about Josh Allen? Can we see a Josh Allen height?
That is huge.
No, he's huge. No, he's the same size of the linebackers in the O-line.
Josh Allen's 6'5".
So
there's some big boys.
Yeah, they're big boys. No, they're big boys.
Damn, I thought I thought a normal QB is like 6 foot to like 6'4".
Well, you gotta see Kyler. That's why some people don't like Kyler. He's mad short.
Yeah, people are moving off of Kyler. I
think that he started off the year really hot, and then now with how he ended the season, and now with no Hopkins for I believe it's 6 weeks because of his PED suspension. I think that people are like, why? What's the upside on that?
I am shook that
he has a video throwing 100 yards.
Who?
Company Cocktail just said.
Herbert. Interesting.
Very interesting. Kyler's a receiver, still have a good. He no doubt it still has a good team. It's just the performance.
I like for all auctions. I was looking at Kyler, so I'm like, damn, this is really cheap. Like I think all these guys I want to say this carefully. A lot of these young QBs is a buy if you know how and when to sell them.
Agreed, but you also have to think. The way I believe it is, I think that there's a type of cult, just as Luka has a cult with both Herbert, Josh Allen, and Mahomes. And I think there's a Burrow type of thing simmering. There's nothing with Kyler. Nothing. The amount of NTs that you see with Kyler is out of this world. Like you don't see the Josh Allen and the Herbert as near as many times as you will see the Kyler.
Burrow will be better this year.
Contend for many years.
If Burrow is better than he was last year, his prices will even go up.
People love Burrow because of his off-field presence. Josh Allen doesn't have that big of a presence.
What about Herbert? And that's one of the weird things too. We like to see these guys go on podcasts, talk, like be socially within the culture,
social media.
Yeah, we like to see that. Yeah. Like if you're low key in a way, it almost is like not as attractive.
But everyone loves Joe Shiesty.
I bet you this. Even though Luka's about to get bounced by the Warriors, like they're about to get swept, right?
Yeah.
His card prices have gone up a bit. It's good to see.
Yeah.
But I bet you, even if that happens, right? If he went on a big podcast like Impulsive and Full Send, it would bring his card prices up in the weirdest way.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's why a lot of people love LaMelo. It's because LaMelo is so heavy in the media. I think that if more players become more involved in that type of stuff, and I think that's why people love Ja as well. I think Ja is very out there, does a lot with his Instagram. If you see during those playoff runs, he kept posting. He posted that one video once they got demolished, and the next that night he posted the picture with Jordan. And the next game he showed up, and that's when he balled out.
If cards go international, then you think baseball and soccer go up and football goes down. I mean, I think cards. We saw at the event the guys that talked to us were from the UK.
Most of the people we talked to,
two of the guys.
Yeah, they're from London, UK.
And they told us, they said there's shows happening over there now. It's not as big as it is here, but it's happening.
Yeah.
So
we saw a lot of those.
Winston? Somebody said buy Jameis Winston.
Oh, oof.
That his stuff is cheap.
Where is he in New Orleans?
Yeah. Is he going to be the starter?
Between him and Taysom? Or is that the competition over there? Winston's going to throw the rock.
He started playing really good, and then he got hurt.
Well, he throws a lot of interceptions. That is a sneaky
play.
He throws a lot of interceptions.
I know.
He's the starter.
I kind of like him, though, low-key.
Yeah. A lot of people like Fields, too, from Chicago. But you got to think, I need to do some hardcore research this week on these QBs. Just think about how many QBs we've named in the past few minutes. I think there's been at least 10 or 15. I think that most of them you can't necessarily go wrong, especially with the hype.
But you have to sell before the thing, though. It happened with Brady.
Yes.
Brady, both the refractors going insane while he's playing, contenders, and now they're coming down.
So you just see this division between everybody this is what I love about football is everybody is so keen on a different guy. We have Mitchell Trubisky by
oh my God.
Person. Then we have Derek Carr.
Did you see that? What this person say? Jaw 27, the true OD, said, "Listen, it ain't pretty, but I'm telling you guys, Daniel Jones is a bot."
See, everybody says a different guy.
Everybody saying a different guy.
It says a different guy, and everybody has some type of conviction and some basis behind it, whether they're a fan of that team or they truly believe it. And I think that's where the division comes between: are you thinking as a fan or are you thinking as an investor? And I think that's a very hard, biased opinion that you can't have. But as we've seen, there is so many.
MB Cards and Sasha, is that George Russell next to you?
Yes.
No, that is not George Russell. That is Shaya next to me.
Davis Mills. See, we got a little Houston action going on. So I think that at the end of the day, we got to just pick and choose, fellas, and make your decisions carefully.
I think if you're running this as business, I think there's big opportunity in buying these guys at 70, 80. And there's margins there.
But I think you have to have a comparison.
But you have to sell. QBs. You have to sell.
Unless you're betting. Or then that's gambling. Or a very educated guess.
I think because we see all this football chat too, there's buyers for it. But yes, if you're betting, it's different. But if you're running this as a business, don't hold because you're just in it to make your margins.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You think Babe Ruth will pan out?
Not sure about that one.
Yeah, not sure. Not sure about that one. I hate the Giants, but I'm telling you, new coach, the guy who made Josh Allen into who he is today. I mean, Daniel Jones stuff is so cheap that maybe you just buy some stuff and put it away. If you have the money to do that.
It's so low. All that stuff with Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, like let's say Daniel Jones became a top 5 QB. I mean, you'd make so much money on this stuff.
That's why like a small little play, don't put your life savings into it.
Yeah.
But if you put like a small play, whatever that is for you. Everyone has a different definition of what a small play is, what you can afford and what you consider, and just put it away and wait for the coming months. Keep track of what it's at and just see. I think we saw that kind of with Mitchell Trubisky when he went to the Steelers. He was so cheap. And a few of our friends, Joey, he was buying those Prism-based PSA 10s at the shows before, and we're all like, what are you doing? And he was like, he's going to get picked up, and he got lucky, and Pittsburgh picked him up, which is a relatively big market with a solid team, and his cards jumped quite a bit.
Somebody said better to sell right before season or right before playoffs. If you're doing this as a business, I'd always say before season. If you want to make a couple bets here and there, and you really believe in guys, it's more an investment aspect, you could ride it out into the season.
You have to be adamant about you have to think about what the current situation is. And you also got to think about the timetable. Once season comes, people are going to slowly start thinking about basketball again.
Yeah.
You're going to have the World Cup going on.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be football.
That's something I didn't
So
even
you're
think
going to
about.
have to, there always comes a play where when the time comes, you're like, oh, shoot, I want to go buy this or buy that. And you're going to have to make another decision. Not everyone has a money tree in their backyard. So you're going to have to make a decision.
That's going to be an interesting time. Like you said, we'll have football going on. We will have the World Cup, essentially.
I think baseball.
Baseball will be ending in October.
Okay,
so wait, World Cup starts in November, I want to say.
Okay.
When does football start?
I think World Cup is earlier, actually.
I don't think so. I think it's November. I want to say football's November. Or, soccer's November. Football's August. Baseball ends in October. That's World Series time, late October. Basketball starts in October, I want to say, too. Late October.
September. Something's in September.
Okay, so that, but in general,
World Cup September.
All those sports will be happening in that little funky period.
Football starts September, basketball starts October, World Cup starts November. So there's going to be whole lot going on.
The only thing I was off was football. The rest of them were right.
There's going to be a lot going on.
So you guys, the play here then is to be really specific because again, attention
and diversify.
Yes, but so where attention goes, money follows. There's going to be attention shifted in so many different places
and very fast
that the money is going to be spread out. So let's say for example, the only thing that was going on would be the World Cup. All the attention money would be in that.
But
in this case,
is going to be very fast.
Exactly. There's going to be 100%. There's going to be big shifts. Money's going to be spread out. Attention is going to be spread out. So you got to be very specific in how you're going to game plan and the assets you want to be in.
So this is the time now where you have to be, okay, what is the position I want to be in come national? National is that that pre-time where you can quickly change into brand new assets. So now is the time where you should be, these are the cards that I want to be going into the national and have a game plan as, okay, World Cup is coming, football is coming, and basketball is coming. What are the cards that I want to be buying in anticipation for that?
Somebody said buy Neymar. I think Neymar's cheap.
I think Neymar's an interesting play, especially with Mbappe now staying in PSG.
I know.
With Messi.
That was interesting.
It's a very interesting play.
Well, because he wanted to leave even if Messi came, but now I think it's a lot of money to turn down.
You maybe want to be mentored. I don't know. He wants to play with the greats.
But honestly, if his card prices go down because of that, I'm chill with it because I need to buy some more.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, there's so much shit going on, bro. And also, the whole world is fucking crazy right now. It's like, Baker
he doesn't have a job.
Okay, all these guys, he doesn't have. Well,
no, he doesn't. Deshaun is the guy over there.
But is Deshaun going to be out the first couple weeks of the season?
No one knows. So, but what's the upside?
I think what they'll do is if they figure out that Deshaun's good, they'll trade him out.
To where? There's a lot of, I don't know what his price is at, but I think there's a lot of variables, and I think that there's a negative connotation with Baker. I don't think people love Baker.
But Baker was a guy that culturally was relevant. He was going on podcasts. People were fucking with him.
I think a lot of people didn't like him when he came into the NFL and the things that he's done. And I don't think he's a loved QB. I don't think he has a lot of backing, personally.
Interesting. What about baseball? We haven't talked about baseball.
Well, baseball is a section where I am not the most knowledgeable. But
I bought some big baseball before the season. I was like, if the Angels can pitch, I was like, this is going to be insane because you're going to have Ohtani, Trout healthy. They're going to be one of the most watched teams in baseballs. And so far, they are figuring out their pitching. I bought a big Bowman Chrome 1010, auto PSA 10, auto 10.
You picked up an Acuna this weekend as well.
I know. Huh? I know. There's a lot of wax trading. There's a lot of wax going down at the show. So people were giving cards in terms of wax, and I was taking it in. Baker is Johnny Manziel without alcohol. I mean, but Baker tries.
Good for him.
Yeah. Obi Toppin and Maxey are good buy. Maxey is a play. Obi.
I would just say be very cautious with the whole prospecting
thing. And basketball right now. Basketball still has some way to go down, I feel like, right now, right?
Because you got to think people need money. Somebody's holding on to these rookies, onto these cards. Do they have the patience to hold these until next season when football's starting up, baseball's going to be ending, and World Cup's going to be starting up?
Nelk's, the Nelk boys are talking about getting into NASCAR. Would be funny. I think Logan Paul just got into NASCAR
with a prime sponsored car.
Yeah, I think they went. I think Logan and maybe Nelk went to F1 and saw the craziness and were like, we need to get into something. And NASCAR is probably the best value play.
Yeah.
Panini being behind with releases makes everything even more interesting. I agree. I know a lot of people are nervous about Fanatics getting into this mix, but I do agree that you have Michael Rubin, who was at the event talking.
Yep.
Josh Luber came to the rally
flea market
to see that happening. I haven't seen Panini like do that sort of stuff like when I've been in cards. So I am bullish on what they're going to do, Fanatics.
I'm excited for the future. Absolutely.
Our homie said buy the Rose Dip because he knows I'm a big Rose fan.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
I think her game plan last fight was like, I get it, but she had to be more aggressive because it just left it up to the judges. Yeah.
You see this question?
I was also upset that she has a boyfriend or husband.
That's not what she was. She was doing fine. She wasn't.
It's rough.
Yeah,
it's a rough one right there.
Yeah, sad.
You see this?
Did you see that Costco had Jordan autos on their website? Is that real?
I don't know. I'd be very
if
cautious.
That is real, I am no. Come on, Costco they'll accept returns if it's fake.
I don't know.
Costco if we can get a
response.
Yeah, a response on that. That would be fantastic.
You can catch me at Shaya_Cards. Thank you very much. I accept sponsorships.
Do you think Fanatics will make blasters $20 or $25? Look like Panini has them at $25. I don't know exactly what they'll do, but I do think that it's going to be very accessible for any person to get their hands on product. Again, I think the high-end product that's a different story, but I do think they're going to make product that is direct to a $15 product, a $20 product, something that the everyday kid, consumer, parent can get their hands on. I do think they're going to do that.
So Patty, now he's going to lose soon. Are we talking about the fighter or the football player?
The football player, I think. The fighter, I think, right? The fighter.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would say I think the UFC and Dana White is going to juice them up a little bit more, give them a couple more, relatively easier fights. And then they'll kind of bring them into hot water. But I think they're still going to run them up and trying to get someone. Because I listened to an interview. He doesn't get paid anything. He gets, I think, Patty gets $20K to show up and $20K if he wins, I believe.
Wow.
That was his last fight. That's nothing. You know how much money the UFC makes off of him right now?
Insane.
Why would they have him fight somebody that's insane?
Oh.
Oh, so we're getting some
some scheduling. Some scheduling.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll talk to you about that
one. Patty prices are too high. Not like I think he has some room to. I don't know.
Well, I could say that I ripped a UFC box.
I want Patty to
sponsored by Mr. T.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys, you have to understand. There was a lot of wax ripped.
A lot of degeneracy went on.
And
this trip.
We did record this vlog. It was this event. Yes. This was one of the ones where I was like, all right, let's do this one. And you'll see it in the vlog. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. It was
Hamzat Cards. I'm glad Hamzat went down. He had a terrible last fight. Terrible.
But he's that guy.
That last fight.
I don't know. I love Hamzat.
I need to see.
With no basis, I love Hamzat. There is no backing behind this statement. I have no foundation. I just love the guy.
That was a rough last fight.
I loved his interview.
Rough last fight.
Oh, we got C-Buzz in here.
Connor will be back soon. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what that will do with his prices, bro. Really.
You know, it's very interesting to me. We have talked about everything except basketball.
I know.
It's very interesting to me.
Because basketball is saturated now.
I think it says a lot about the current the interest and the demand that's in the market. We were talking about UFC. We talked a lot about football.
That's why I
and a
brought a
little
lot of
about soccer.
That's why I brought a lot of UFC to the show. I was like, bro, people like the UFC. Okay, we brought WWE was all ripped too. That was interesting.
Wow.
All the WWE I brought was ripped.
Yeah.
Curry wins the rings. He top 10 now.
No.
Top 10 all time.
No, 4 rings.
If Curry wins, he is not in my top 10.
I don't know about that.
Okay, this is you want to go my top 5? I'll give you my top 5. You go your top 5.
This is a throwback of we did this a few times on the old pod. I remember SashaT got a lot of backlash because I think he put Lonzo Ball in the top 5.
Whoa, no, I'm saying all time.
Yeah, I know.
Lonzo Ball's not in the top 5. You want to go first?
Oh no, you can go ahead.
This is off the dome, so I know I'm gonna. What is somebody saying? All right, I'm just gonna ignore that comment. All right, this is my top 5 all time, and I know I'm gonna miss somebody. Kobe Bryant's number 1.
Okay,
that's my guy.
That's interesting.
From LA, I love Kobe Bryant. Best all time. If you give me a 7-game series, right, and you tell me you need one player on your team, I'm picking Kobe Bryant. Okay. Because I just have 110% full belief that he will win that series.
I completely agree, J27. I completely agree.
No, you didn't understand. you didn't understand what I was saying. My top 5.
Yes, thank you, chat.
No,
I completely agree with this. MJ should be at the number 1. No questions asked.
My top 5 is based off of a 7-game series. Who do I want on my team?
The top 5 is the 5 greatest players of all time. I think that is what the top 5 is, not game. No,
Kobe is number 1 on my list.
Did you watch The Last Dance?
Yes, Jordan is number 2.
Okay, interesting. That's why Jordan mentored Kobe, right? And that's why Kobe
and
learned from Jordan. That's why Jordan was that guy.
Bro, Kobe has better handles than Jordan. Kobe can shoot better than Jordan. Kobe can pass better than Jordan.
Championship.
Kobe has a better basketball IQ than Jordan.
Championship.
Kobe can play better D than Jordan.
Oh wow, this is. Thank you, C.
I don't care.
Thank you, C. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Yes, thank you. SashaT is blasphemous right now. MJ is the number 1.
Dude, did you not see Kobe play defense?
What are you talking? I don't think you watched The Last Dance.
I did. I watched it completely.
Nick.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
Kobe is number 1. Jordan's number 2. Guys, chill.
No.
Chill.
6, 7.
Absolutely not. This is rough.
No, Kobe's my number 1. Jordan's 2. That's fine.
This is going to be a TikTok clip, and there's going to be lots of arguments about this invalid point made by Mr. T right here.
At least for me, I go based off of what I believe in. A lot of these guys, probably in the chat, are like, Jordan's my 1 because everybody else has Jordan 1. No. Oh, did it go down?
Chat, are you going to take that?
Are we still live?
Yeah, we are.
Damn, what happened to the TV?
Your TV just fell asleep or something.
Do we have the remote somewhere? Throw it.
I'm still airplane.
I like the question Abby says is who's your starting 5?
Well, I still need to finish my top 5.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to hear that.
I think the starting 5 is a better question.
Okay, we got it. We're good.
You start going in order and you get confused. Like,
oh, we got lots of questions here.
Wait. Did Jordan? Yeah. See, did Jordan ever drop 81 in a game?
So then, what Chamberlain got the heavier? Would he be
Kobe isn't even in my 2, my guy. Okay, I respect that, but respect my list. Your list is totally wrong.
I want to hear the rest of this top 5.
Okay, Kobe, Jordan.
Oh man, now it gets serious.
I would either go Magic or Wilt.
Wow.
Oh no. Actually, never mind. Kobe, Jordan, Kareem. Okay. Kareem's my 3.
Okay.
Why? Okay, Kareem is underrated.
They say drug test him.
Who do they have at 3?
Braun.
No, I have Kareem at 3. No.
Siva, give
No,
me your top
I'm
5.
not insane.
Drop top 5s in the chat.
Let me finish my 5. Give me my moment. Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, Magic, LeBron. That's my 5.
Wow.
And I'm being
Ja Morant in their top 5.
No. I could swap Wilt at 5 and put LeBron 6.
See,
too.
people are realizing the pattern here, and this is why SashaT previously put D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, and Lonzo Ball in his top 5 of all time. See, we're seeing they're all Lakers. They're all Lakers.
Honestly,
Lakers.
LeBron for me could fall to like 8, but I just put him out of respect.
That's Kobe. Kobe's like 6'7".
Bro, you're insane.
Are you putting Curry or Braun?
Braun.
Okay.
Braun.
Russell or Braun?
Who's Russell?
Bill Russell.
I have a bad taste of LeBron after last season.
Wow.
Somebody said Giannis over Tim Duncan.
No, Tim Duncan all day.
Oh no.
Hakeem in the top. Duncan in the top.
Giannis needs to win like a couple more chips, and then I'll put him over Duncan.
Bird.
Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. Okay, his 5 isn't even that much different than mine.
Ooh.
He's trying to rip me. Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Bill Russell, Magic. That's not even that different.
That's
bro.
ordered. That's in order.
I know, but that's not that. Okay, bro?
I pretty much agree with that one. J27.
I would
Jordan,
not put LeBron over Kobe.
No.
Why would you put LeBron over Kobe?
No. It goes. I say it's Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and then I would say the last 2 is a switch. You could say Magic. You could say Kareem. You could say Duncan. But I think it's with one of those 3 guys.
I got a question though. So when LeBron is top 5 in all stats, points, everything, would you say he's better than Kobe?
No. I think if you put okay, listen to this. I think if you put Kobe and LeBron in a 7-game series in their prime, Kobe's. That's how I base it off of. That's how I base my shit off of.
I'm loving the vibes in this chat, by the way.
2 different questions though. 7-game series, GOAT.
Kobe's the GOAT.
Wow.
So when you're top 5 in
Kobe culturally is the GOAT.
So when you're top 5 in every category, you're not the GOAT?
No. Kareem has the most points. He's not the GOAT.
But it's top 5 in
one of
every
them.
category.
I don't care about every category, bro.
Surprise, no Magic in any of the top 5s. Yeah, I
had Magic on my top 5.
I put some respect on Magic.
3. Magic was what in my top 5?
Mine was 4 or 5 is Magic.
Magic was 4 in mine.
Curry is one that it needs to. Well, we will see what it
Steph
is at the end of
best
it.
shooter ever.
Yeah. But like when it comes to the all-time ranks, I think we got to see what he ends his career at. And he could rise. There's no doubt if he wins a chip or 2 or 3.
Who?
Curry?
Steph?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's got like I feel like he's gonna start getting hurt.
I disagree. I think especially now that he's so close to winning without KD, I think it gets very interesting, especially if he wins another 1 or 2.
I think more after this year.
I think it's very interesting because that team is gnarly, especially with how Clay is playing and Jordan Poole.
The problem with Curry that is when he got into the finals, a lot of times he would choke.
But he has the team.
Like he wasn't the best player on
the. He wasn't choking. KD just stepped up, so it wasn't like.
We're gonna see.
No,
this
even
year.
Before that though,
they're up 3-0 right now. You have one more game. They close the series, and then they have either Boston or Miami, which is gonna be a series that I think is much debated. Actually,
it's funny because all these Luka guys were like, "Mavs are gonna win the series," and they just got.
Luka just doesn't have help. He just
I
doesn't
agree
have
with that.
any help.
The good thing is he did get to a point where he didn't get to the year before, so his prices are going to like
absolutely
be good. But if he did get bounced the series before, it would have been bad.
Luka is an interesting case, I would say, mainly because of his prices currently. I would say that there's a lot of negative connotations that go with how much his prices are, and I think a lot of people would rather spend their money elsewhere.
I would, even though we got into Luka early. It's different than Luka early versus it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say Luka, Tatum, and Giannis? Those 3. Would you put those 3?
Giannis is the first. Luka's the second. Tatum's the third.
I think Giannis.
If I'm building a team for the future, that's the 3.
I would go Luka.
You'd go Luka 1.
Yeah.
It's a tough one between those first 2, but Giannis just on the defensive end, what he brings, like, who can stop him?
It's like an average 30, 15, I feel like, easily.
Tatum ahead of Luka. It's interesting. Tatum's an interesting
I would
case.
not go Tatum ahead of Luka.
Tatum really turned it around.
Even though
this
Tatum's
year.
style is more like a guy that I like, Luka
yeah.
is just insane.
And I had a Carmelo? Who's a better number 2 guy, Kyrie or Pip?
That's tough.
I don't think that's that
Who
tough.
number 1 is really.
That's true. I'm taking Pip because I think Kyrie offensively is amazing, but there's a lot of off-court issues and inconsistencies with Kyrie. Even though I love watching him on the offensive end.
And that's the weird thing about cards too is like guys can stop buying him because things they do off the court, even if they're amazing on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. There has to be a middle ground between being involved in the media, but then also what that presence is, what the status or the connotation is with your name. I think that goes very much into how people like you.
I got Carmelo rookie refractors for $20 on eBay. Yeah, see, I think
that was an advertisement right there.
Carmelo is what, like a top 30 player all time ish, 50. Let's just say 50.
I'll have to go down the list.
Let's just say 50 to be safe, right? His stuff doesn't sell. So the thing with cards and all these young guys and people investing in them, bro, a top 50 player all time like Carmelo Anthony doesn't even sell that well.
Yeah. Like flashy, that's why.
Carmelo is flashy.
Was.
No, but I'm saying like now, like he's still a top 50 player all time, but he doesn't sell.
See, it's interesting. A lot of people say that Tatum is going to win more than Luka, and I think that's interesting in the sense that Tatum hasn't really done much in the past years winning wise. I think do you remember before this massive streak that they went on, what the record was? It was a very poor record. I love him in the future. I think he's going to be amazing. I think that he has all the tools to be one of the best and one of the most loved players. But I think those are going to be two guys that are going to battle out for years to come. But at the end of the day, Luka needs help, and Tatum already has some. I think that's just what it is right now. I saw somebody mentioned Kevin Durant.
Oh, I love me some KD.
I think KD's interesting, but I think KD needs a win, and I think that team is a little rough.
Bro, if he last year,
we're gonna talk about last year. We should start talking.
He would have won the chip if he just if his foot was chopped in half. If he literally had like just chopped down like an inch, he would have been chilling.
Well,
yeah, he's.
And I think we have a lot of guys that are injured that like a lot of people have forgotten about. I would say Jamal Murray, Kawhi.
Okay, these are the
guys. Lillard.
Okay, wait. Before we get into these are the guys: Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Dame. They're the guys that are in these weird markets that are cheap in card price value, but they never really go up because they're in the middle of nowhere.
That's why I personally love Donovan, but he needs to get out of Utah. He needs to go out of Utah.
The Hawks or the Knicks.
Because if he goes out of Utah, I am very confident that he could win on a very solid team. I think he can lead a team relatively well. I think that Utah team, it's not a big market. I don't think it's perfectly structured for Mitchell, but he needs to have the ball in his hand wherever it is. I'm very curious to see what Dame does next season.
Somebody said if Carmelo has bronze and KD's teams, he would have at least won one chip. I agree with that. KD in his prime was nasty. Or no, I mean Carmelo. KD too, but Carmelo in his prime was nasty.
Yeah, I don't know where Mitchell should go, but I think that he definitely needs out of Utah. And I think he's going to get frustrated staying there. Because he's that guy. I think we saw that a lot last season.
Deuce Tatum is going to be the GOAT. I agree.
Deuce is the homie. He's the homie.
He's a chiller.
What do you think of SashaT Dog Bobo?
Bobo
is the homie.
He's the homie. Once he meets you, he's the homie.
Oh, what a statement that is.
Okay, so J27, the true OD, said we haven't mentioned Zion Williamson.
Well, that's a name right there.
That is a name.
That is a name that has been talked about and much controversy. And
is he going to the Knicks with RJ?
All right, let's talk about Zion.
Yeah.
You go first because I got a lot to say.
I think that this goes back to the same thing we were talking about earlier. Where are you going to put your money? Where are you going to optimize it? Where is the risk relatively low and the reward is relatively high? And I think there's way too much risk with Zion. I'm personally not an investor. I just go back and think, okay, with the prices that he's at, would I rather buy him or Ja? Would I rather buy Trey? Would I rather buy Luka, Giannis? all the other young guys that are in that relative category, who would you rather spend your money on? And I would rather spend my money on those guys. Zion has the name. Zion has the flashy, the explosive, all that type of stuff. That's amazing. He's an amazing player. But I just personally do not want to take that unwanted risk. That's unnecessary, especially now that the market has shifted away from base. If the base market was as healthy as it was before, not healthy, or as high as it was previously, there would be such a low entry with a card that had so much potential, as we saw with Luka and all the other base cards. But now, having to spend so much money on those cards, especially as LRG Cards said, the pop is insane, especially as we keep increasing in these years. The production is increasing compared to years like 2017 with Tatum or 18 with Luka. But that's just currently my stance.
I think that Zion in his college years, in terms of body,
his lean
and his senior year of high school was like, we thought that was going to be his like end, like growth, right?
Yeah.
But he actually like almost like grew more.
Yeah.
And now he's becoming like overly like big.
Yeah.
Whereas if he just stopped like senior year of high school, first year of college, it was solid.
Yeah, he was very lean. Looking back on those pictures when he came into the draft,
there's it's tough. Like when you keep growing, and I'm not talking about like height. I'm talking about like bones and like just like, you know what I mean, like
body structure.
It's tough, and I think he like outgrew what we wanted him to be, in a way. So we have to see him on the court, right? And that style of play has high injury risk.
Absolutely,
it just does. Now, what surprised me when he first played that first game, when he started popping those threes and stuff, I was like, I didn't think he could do that. And you see his explosive and how much stronger he is than other NBA players that are very strong.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But health is a huge issue.
Size,
nutrition,
price.
Exactly. Those are all issues. And to see some of his prices right now, and it's scary. Now, can he come in next year and be healthy and go off? Sure. But you have to feel confident in that.
I would say for him, especially for me, he's the type of guy that I would potentially hop on the train once I see something. Once I see that, he's become a lot more lean. He steps on the court. He's explosive. He's playing well, all that type of stuff. Okay, I'd consider it. But as of right now, we have no idea of what is to come. I am passing and I'm waiting. One question I did want to address that I saw previously was Tatum or Trey. I don't think it's much of a question on my end, personally. I wanted to see your take on that.
Well, you would say Tatum?
I would absolutely say Tatum.
I would say, okay, Trey brought his team to. Trey brought his team to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, right? Trey did.
I believe so.
Tatum's doing the same thing. But yes, I would. Tatum can play defense. Tatum has the offense. Trey can't really play defense. That's the only difference for me.
Prices are one thing for sure, but I would say that I know I spoke with my good friend, Mr. Michael Coleman, Coleman_cards, about this. I think Tatum, out of all the guys currently, is in the best position to become one of the greats. We actually spoke about this weekend with Mr. Chris Costa, in that Tatum is in the best spot regarding team, his market, and the way that he plays with his size, his shooting style, his game, handles, all of it. He's an exciting player to watch. He's in the best position to be one of those guys. When you compare it to other guys such as Donovan Mitchell, that's stuck in Utah, that's just poor. Just a very bad market. It's very different. And that is one big reason why I would take Tatum over Trey, aside from performance and being able to hit the clutch shot or whatever it may be. I would just pick Tatum. I think he's that guy. Got some
Salami 23
long questions.
Said, what do you think about the market as a whole with wax prices breaks? Oh man, it went away. Is there a way we can scroll up real quick?
Yeah, I got you.
What do you think about the market as a whole with wax prices breaks on whatnot, while the true prices of boxes are much cheaper, causing people to spend tons of money and go into debt, and the chances of actually profiting being less than 5%? Again, this weekend, my most sales at the show was wax. So people love to rip. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
People love to gamble. That's just what it is. I think it comes down to you as a consumer have to understand what you're
getting into.
What
you're getting into.
Yes,
what is the risk
you have to understand what you're getting into, and also your ability to spend money on stuff. You don't like it. It's more of a you thing than the breaker in a way, where you as a consumer have to understand how much you're willing to risk, and from a accounting standpoint, it should be very, very, very low compared to your net worth, because it is pure gambling.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Now, in terms of breakers, there are some breakers that have higher price points than other breakers. I think that is just the market. Now, I'd never want to see somebody get butchered on price points. Yeah. At the same time, a breaker is a show. They create a show. They create an environment. They create a room. So if they have an amazing room that's fun, that's interactive, that they want to have a little bit of a higher premium than other breakers because they feel like they deserve it, go ahead. The market will decide that. Now, do I think that there are breakers that don't do things that are realistic and good for the industry? Sure. Do I think there's also amazing breakers? Sure. So I think that's my take on that.
Yeah, I think that it really comes down to overall market knowledge as well. As to whenever you're opening a box, I would always look into what is the market of that box? And obviously everybody needs to make a profit or whatever it is. What is the price compared to that market? What are you comfortable and willing to pay? And what are you able to pay? I would think that's a big question. And what are you able to pull? I would say that's a big thing that a lot of people don't fully understand is when you're opening a box and you're spending so much money, especially with the current prices, and you're able to and willing, and all that is all good. What is the chase? What are you looking for? What is that card? And look at that compared to the box prices. If those two prices are relatively similar, then the box is not worth it. Just think about, let's just say, for instance, let's just say a Joe Burrow RPA is the same price as the box. There's a slight issue there.
Yeah.
There's a slight issue. You do get the rest of those cards that are in that box, but there needs to be a threshold between the two. So I just think it comes down to knowledge and people really understanding that.
Yeah, and I think in terms of whatnot, like we go on about twice a week right now. We want to be on 5. We're eventually going to be on 5 days a week for whatnot, doing live shows. We focus on slabs and raw cards and bulk deals, and there's great value in that stuff, right? People get a lot of insane deals, but also, sometimes people pay a little bit over. Yeah. And the beauty of it is like you're getting a tangible, real asset that is there, right? And if you know what you're doing, there could be great value there. Whereas breaking, it's pure, gambling, and you have to understand that. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you have to
pick and choose.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose.
Especially with the whole money, everybody trying to figure it out. You got to be like, okay, would I rather buy the slab? Would I rather invest it in this? Or would I rather take that risk? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just the way you decide to go about things. But I think that's definitely a decision some people need to make. I wanted to address a question that came up. Are people grading with PSA at $50? I think that's what the question was.
Yeah, $50 is now, you can grade at 50 now.
And I think that's a very interesting question, as I think the whole bulk grading system has changed drastically, especially with the shift in the base market, as that used to be the hustle. That was what we did for many months, for probably maybe years. That was just the rinse and repeat. And I would say now grading is still big. I would just say the way that you grade is very different, in the sense that now you just have to pick and choose your cards. I know before there would be cards where people would even look at the card to look at the condition, the centering, surface, corners, and they just send it in raw.
Yeah.
Bulk. Now I think because of the price increases and because of what the raw to graded ratio difference is, I think you just got to pick and choose, but also see if it's worth it and take into the risk of, okay, I'm spending $50 on grading and the raw is $100. How much is the PSA 9? How much is the PSA 10? Is that risk worth it? And how clean is the card? What is the probability of it gemming in that case?
I think that we should rip some stuff and give it away.
I'm absolutely down.
Do you have a podcast?
Who are you talking to me? If you're talking to me, no, not yet. I do not have a podcast yet.
I think they were talking about this. I think
they said in the works.
I think they were talking about this.
Either of you. Yeah, this is the SashaT podcast. This is it. You are watching the SashaT podcast.
That's tough. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh shit.
This is it. Welcome.
You know what we should do first? We'll do the giveaway first and then rip the cards for them. Usually what we do is we rip the cards and then do the giveaway.
Oh, okay. So you're going to give away this pair first?
We'll give it away first. We'll change it up.
A little switcheroo.
Again, guys, if you want to be part of the chat, ask questions and join these giveaways. 313 cards. Congrats. You are the winner of these 2 packs. So we're going to rip it live for you here. And so you'll know what cards you hit. Yeah, good luck, 313. All right, first card you got is Marcus May from the New York Jets. Second card, damn, what is that? I don't know what that is. Chase Young from Washington. Next card is Henry Ruggs.
Oh.
The third. Next card is Khalil Mack. Daniel Jones.
Wow.
Daniel Jones. We had a lot of chatter about Daniel Jones.
He's that guy. Maybe he's not.
Von Miller. Tyler Lockett.
He's not that guy.
Yeah, so he said Henry Ruggs. James Robinson. J.J. Watt. A.J. Brown. Matthew Stafford. Tre'Davious White. Damian Harris. Mike Evans. Tyrann Mathieu.
Oh, wow. That was horrible.
Tyrann
Mathieu.
That was only one. I was pretty solid on the rest of them.
That was pretty rough.
And then when that video comes out about you...
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
Dude, this man could not say one UFC fighter.
When you guys tune in, I'm on a first name basis with all of the UFC. I hope everybody knows this.
Marquise Brown. Adam. That's it. Adam. Thielen. Nick Chubb. Ian Book. Oh, we got a duel. Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. That's kind of cool.
Oh, that's for the Miami Dolphins.
That's cool.
Who's winning tonight? Tonight is Celtics game, right?
Oh, is it?
I think it's Celtics Miami. Yeah.
Hopefully the Celtics. Aaron Jones.
Tying up the series.
And Tim Brown. How much time we have? 8 minutes. Okay, Shaya, you're up.
All right, let's run this.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Shiesty right there. T.Y. Hilton. Antonio Gibson. Derek Carr. Another
there we go.
Potential buy by some individuals.
Christian Vegas McCaffrey. Dave. That's Vegas Dave's guy.
Taysom Hill. Jerry Jeudy. The Denver Broncos. Got Fletcher Cox. No, I did not say Derek Carr is a potential buy. I said that he could be a potential buy. He is not a buy. It depends on, in my opinion. Brandon Cooks. Julio Jones on the Titans. an interesting one to see. Joey Bosa, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Rodgers. We got Tom Brady.
There we go.
Right there. Travis Kelce. Lamar Jackson. Lots of QBs in this pack.
Shout out to Target.
Wow. We got a Tua MVP contenders insert.
What?
And a winning ticket Patrick Mahomes insert.
What?
You know, this is pretty gnarly. This is pretty gnarly compared to Mr. T's pack. You got a Cameron Jordan Power Players. And then to kick it off, a Josh Allen Supernatural insert.
Dude, your pack was insane.
You know, that's what I do.
That's what you do.
And lots of QBs. A lot of the ones that we talked about on this episode.
Yeah.
Of the SashaT podcast.
Yeah, 313 cards.
Absolutely.
Congrats, man. We're going to be sending these out to you. Franklin's going to get them packed and shipped out to you.
Absolutely.
Damn, this is a man.
That was a solid pack. Lots of QBs.
Interesting.
Solid little Tom Brady
Interesting, man.
base contenders right there.
Oh, what is this?
Just a filler. Just a filler.
I thought it was like a sticker or something.
Yeah,
I think it might be. I don't know.
No.
That was a fun episode, dude.
Absolutely.
That was fun interacting with you guys in the
Very
chat
fun.
on Whatnot. Again, guys, if you're listening on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we do this live on Whatnot on the app. If you go to the links below on YouTube or whatever, you'll be able to find it. And we interact with you guys. We interact with the chat. We take questions. We run giveaways. Yeah, and I'm glad, Shaya, you're able to come on. That was solid. We had some hot takes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have fun?
Fun episode. Very fun episode.
That was probably what was that, Frank? An hour and a half, 2 hours?
Like an hour 45.
Yeah, that didn't feel like it though.
Yeah,
I'm starving though.
Yeah, we gotta get some lunch.
We gotta get some lunch
ASAP.
Anyways, appreciate it, guys. Shai is a busy man. He just finished up his first year at Berkeley. I'm really proud of him. And he's going to be coming around to card shows over the summer.
Absolutely.
You'll be able to see him at the National, at Dallas, at the local LA shows over the next couple of months. So don't be afraid to say hi to him. And we will see you guys soon. Next episode is this Thursday, live on Whatnot. And I'll announce the guests tomorrow. But anyways, guys, I will see you very, very soon.
Peace.